Hello, everyone. Welcome, everyone who's dropping in. We will be waiting for the full hour before we start.
Yes,
Recording is
we
in
will.
progress.
We are.
Good stuff coming today.
So I was asking you, where are you for today's session? And this is also maybe a fun question to everybody who just joined in. I know where I am for today's session, but where are you? Where are you, Johan? Where are we doing our webinar today?
I'm in Amsterdam, if that's what you mean. I don't think that's what you mean.
No. Take us to the place where we are.
We are in a big theater because you have to imagine, like, there's going to be hundreds of people around us. This was a big thing. We were almost reaching our limits for the webinar capacity on our Zoom plan. We had 903 people signing up for today. Don't expect everyone to show up, but a big portion of those people will show up. And I see a lot of people trickling in already. So we are in a big theater. And basically, we are here together. It's not going to be the Mark and Jochem show, but we're going to sit back, observe, investigate, and do this all together. That's where we are.
In a theater. Okay. Interesting. I've opened the chat, so everybody should be able to connect. Yeah, there we are. Hey, Jens, if you're in a theater, then I'm on a rooftop with, at the moment, over 100 people who are joining us to explore this topic of journey management and journey AI and AI in general. I'm really excited always for these sessions. You know, the fact that all of you have joined and are going to spend, hopefully, the full 90 minutes with us, taking time out of your day. I'm really surprised often that you're here. I'm also really grateful. I love exploring new topics. I'm really grateful, Jochem, that you're providing the space to do so as well, to explore these things. So yeah, everybody who's joined, thanks. Thanks for being here. Really, I'm excited to have you on this journey with us.
I know a lot of people are dropping in from all different countries. Finland, Norway, Sweden, Toronto, Canada, Australia. Good day. Hello. I'm probably butchering that. Good day. You can do it better than I can. Seattle, USA. We were setting the stage as if we were in a theater. I'm in Amsterdam. Mark is in
a lovely city called Utrecht.
Right.
Yes.
We'll be starting in a few. Everyone is dropping in. Crossing
See that you opened the poll, Jochem?
Yeah. EU, North America, Latin, APAC.
So APAC, that's going to be the middle of the night. That's dedication, man. Wow.
It is. Love it. We are recording for everyone from there who signed up. I think sleep is more important. We're going to see it.
Hello from Utrecht. Yes. Hey, Yannick. Cool.
1 a.m. here. Oh, wow. Crazy.
Awesome that you're with us. We'll try to do our best to make this worth your while. Jochem, let's use the next few minutes maybe to give a brief intro about who we are and why are we here. So maybe you want to start. Who are you and what brings you here today, Jochem?
So most of you probably know I am currently the CEO at Daydo, where we are bringing completely new way of working to large companies we call journey management. And what we are seeing is that bringing the customer needs and the business goals in one place, measuring what the customer experience is, but also actioning on qualitative data is one of the toughest things to do. But everyone seems to agree, like, we want to deliver on experience. We want to provide a great customer experience. So when we started the company, we didn't know this was going to be so important to a lot of us to figure it out. And today specifically marks the beginning of a new chapter in I think in service design history, in Daydo's history, with AI coming along. And it has big implications for how we do the grunt work of the work. And I think that is what brings me here today. Not necessarily like, here's the way, and we are ready to show you all the magic that we're going to do, because we will show you some magic for sure. But I'm coming here today to open up the space and to bring everyone along on our journey, figuring this out. How are we going to do it? We have opinions. The title says it all. Will journey AI wipe out journey mapping? And it is a question mark, not a dot on the end. So what brings me here today is actually learning, observing, and a very curious mind. and a very exciting demo feature story that we're going to bring. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but that is actually what brings me here today. How about you, Mark?
Yeah, I'm here because working with you, Johan, is just one big fun adventure the last year. So for the people who haven't seen my face, I run a thing called the Service Design Show, and Johan, what they do, have been partnering with us this year. We've done a lot of cool events, but yeah, I'm just so grateful and happy that you are open to exploring new things together with me and together with the community and doing it out in the public. So I love bringing people together, and today is an opportunity to do that again. We have, I think, at this moment, close to 250 people here. So I'm just here to learn, explore, hear from you all. For me, this is like a big get together and a celebration of what happens when you do a cool partnership.
Super excited. And it's not going to be a big chat for the next hour and a half, right? It's not going to be an open mic session. That's not how we set it up today.
Not today. Not today.
No. So little drum roll. What we want to do, is this a good cue to start, Mark? Shall we?
Depending on what you want to do next. Shall we do a quick poll? Like do a quick poll in between. We asked about where people are. Maybe let's see which position people have. How about that, Johan? All right. So I've launched a new poll. So what's your place in the organization? Are you in-house? Are you freelancing? Are you at a consultancy? I don't know if everybody can see the results. I'm seeing that
if I publish them in a second.
Yeah.
I think not everyone
I
can
see. Henrik, you have a question about if this will be available as a recording. Yeah, it definitely will. Unless technology lets us down, but we are recording, so it should be all good. By the way, in the meantime, this was a good example of using the Q&A. So we have the chat, which is enabled and allows you to chat with everybody. We also have the Q&A. If you have specific questions, post them in there. That's much easier for us to monitor and to sort of answer them, because I'm expecting that the chat will be too busy. So please do use the chat and also use the Q&A for the intended purposes. All right.
There we go. 61% in-house, 24 consultancy agencies, freelancers, others. I saw some students in here and curious what the others are. So we're gonna see it. Let me see if I can share back the results and everyone can see that. All right. I have a few more of these polls coming along the way. Some maybe more serious, some maybe more fun. Over the next hour and 20 minutes, we will take you along on the journey of how AI is changing the face of journey mapping, how we're thinking about it, what we are building, what we are seeing, but mainly it is bringing everyone's perspectives together, and it's a learning opportunity for all of us. Are we excited? Are we concerned? How are we thinking about it? What is going on? We'll prompt a few things, and obviously we're going to see what's coming in Dadu land, so to speak. I would say hit the ground running so that you are getting the most. If that's okay with you, Mark, then
let's go.
We can start.
Let's ask, is everybody ready to go? Are you with us on this journey, on this adventure? Let's do it. Thanks, Ellie.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's go. Woohoo!
Yes.
All right, let's go. Now, I think the stage in the theater at this moment is all yours, Johan.
Yeah, and I think the good thing to start from is like when GPT was launched, everyone went crazy and you had all the beautiful capabilities coming to the software tools you use. And the way we thought about it at Data was a bit more considerate. So we didn't jump the gun and say like, okay, show me the 3 insights or summarize this opportunity for me. We thought long and hard together with our customers, with our users, like what can we do and what do we need to do and what do we want to do now that we have beautiful language models, large language models that can help us assess the qualitative aspects of our work. And that was our starting point, really, to figure out like how this would affect journey management, journey mapping, and basically changing the way we can think about our entire practice or not. So I want to start with some data, and maybe some of you have seen this. Our friends at Nielsen Norman Group did amazing research. Kate Kaplan, we'll probably have on our webinar soon, if she is willing to chat, obviously, but she's done great research on like, what is the average time to map out a journey? Now, according to her research, she broke it down into a few stages, and it turns out it's like more than a week, almost 2 weeks to map out a full journey, getting the buy-in, collecting the business insights, looking at the customer data, collecting it, synthesizing the insights, and mapping the journey. It really takes long. And I think this is nothing new when talking to everyone. See, there you go, Catherine. On my team, it takes months, right? So the verdict of this research might even be on the positive side. But in general, this is not something you do overnight. This is not something you do, on a morning. And I think every professional here, whether you're in service design, in product, in research, all of our customers, and also myself, like doing this work over and over again, there is no shortcut until now. And I think that is what excites everyone, but it's also a little bit scary. Now, there's one more thing that I think this research didn't cover, which is actually the last bit of mapping, and that is actually connecting to existing data. So I think a lot of our customers have already like a lot of journeys mapped out, and then adding a new one is not only like mapping that part out, but it's also like understanding where the connection points with the existing journeys are. Now, I will speak about that later, but I think that is an important thing to also understand. Like that also takes more than a day to really figure out like where the connection points are. It's important, and I'll come back to it. Now, when I posted this on social, the responses were pretty impressive, because I got like a little bit of a polarizing discussion going. So on one hand,
it's good that you're not watching the chat at this moment, Johan.
Okay. What are people saying?
Well, it's a summary of what you have on your screen right now.
Nice. So what I singled out a few on the LinkedIn response we got. So Lee is saying, I applaud your goal to make the process more efficient. It was not even my goal, but it was like, this is the opportunity. But on the other hand, like father figure of the space, Adam St. John Lawrence said, hey, I'm curious and confused, like 72 hours. What kind of journey map is this? I have seen journey maps made in 7 minutes without AI, obviously. And then Annika says, I was already rolling my eyes when I started thinking, oh, there's another vendor saying data and I will fix everything in CX. And that is also what I love, because we still need to talk to our customers. We still want to do the research. We still want to be in the room with them, in the store with them, in the space with them, to observe them and really document and capture what they have to say. But mainly, it's not about what they're saying. It's actually what they're doing, and getting that whole perspective into the journey. That will not change. And I think that is the interesting angle, that mapping out a journey by AI is not just the whole process, but it's breaking it down into parts of it. And I think that is setting up us for today, because I think the first step to do it is actually on the end of it, right? Getting the organizational buy-in. Yeah, there's probably tools in the AI space that are coming up. Collecting business insights is mainly like talking to your peers, sifting through the data. And then also collecting the customer data, doing the actual work of interviewing them, talking to them in the qualitative realm is aided by AI, transcribed by AI, and helped to capture by AI. But still, designing the research questions, talking to your customers, I haven't seen an AI do that sufficiently. Maybe in 10 years, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 3 years, that will change. But we are here today. And I think the first things that we can actually agree on is synthesizing the insights and doing the actual mapping, which, like, according to this research, is 29.5 to let's say 30 hours of work. And that is actually the first step that we are considering changing dramatically for everyone. And why is it important? Because most of the organizations we serve, what we've seen is that they have 200, 300, maybe 400 journeys in a customer lifecycle, that all of these journeys capture parts of the experience and visualize it back to the business. So mapping that all out would take a lot of time, and it has taken a lot of time, and it will take a lot of time. So it's about unlocking the grunt work and getting a super powerful assistant at your disposal, what led us to find the first opportunity. And I think that is what we are going to focus on today. and I'm going to take you through all of that. But maybe like to make it a little bit more formal, because I see a lot in the chat, like how much time do you actually spend on this part of mapping a journey? How much time? So say you have done the research, you have your transcripts, you have your notes, you have your Miro board full of stickies, you've talked to your customers, maybe 1, maybe 10. How much time does it take? 1 to 2 working days, 3 to 4 working days a week, more than a week. And it's also interesting to see, like, sometimes we see people do workshopping with their customers. The verdict is also not out, like, what is the best approach? There's another camp saying, like, I don't know, workshops are the worst to map out journeys. You should do individual interviews and then start to synthesize all the data and map it out into the journey, build your personas, start to do the affinity mapping, create the insights, start making a mental picture, start mapping it out. There's a lot of schools of thought there, but in general, like synthesizing insights, mapping the journey, I think where we are landing is and then a lot of people think or do actually a week to more than a week. So it is time consuming and it is hard work. And yes, in the chat, I also see people saying, like, define single journey. What is the single journey? Actual hours or throughput time? Of course, it depends why I'm mapping the journey. And maybe good to know is, if you are in the example that Adam gave, just figuring out, like, hey, what is a base structure? Can I get some alignment on this? Like, that is not the mapping I'm talking about, but this is actually like creating a complete customer journey map that is reflecting reality in the best possible way based on what you've learned from your customer. What do you think, Mark, when you see this?
I think these are conservative settings, as you mentioned, and the typical chat is also, it depends. What I'm thinking here is I'm just very curious again to seeing the current possibilities and limitations, because it's not going to solve everything today, but let's see. I'm just curious to see where and how can it help us in a meaningful way, and what are the areas in which we should maybe steer away, or that it really needs some human assistance. So even if it shaves off some work, like all the work is like the grunt work or the grit work that we can save and actually spend that time on being with customers and thinking about interview questions, I would say that's a win. So I'm just really curious where we are today.
I also think there's more acceptance now by using tools like AI to facilitate this, compared to where we are maybe at the beginning of the year, where people are highly skeptical and thought of it. And I've also observed in contact with like UX researchers and teams, as they're like, oh, a big part of my job is now gone. And then their manager would say, no, actually, like, finally we get to work on the juicy things, on the good stuff, on the most important things, where actually, like, human creativity and thoughtfulness and intelligence is still trumping AI. And user researchers, or she in particular, got a whole new definition for her job, if, of course, journey mapping is completely transformed by AI. So maybe before we move on, there's another question maybe related to it we can pull out, which could be, are you concerned or excited, or both, about AI in journey management, in journey mapping, in journey land? Maybe you're not sure yet. I'm obviously in the excited camp. Where are you, Mark?
That's a good question. In general, I'm in the excited space with a small asterisk.
What is the asterisk?
Yeah, the asterisk is like, I'm sort of realistically excited.
Nice. And that's a nice way to put it. The robots will kill us all, Jens.
Yes.
Maybe we all live in
they
a simulation.
They already have probably. Yeah.
It could be. All right. I will publish the results. Yeah. See? And this is actually what is interesting. Like, there are not many people concerned anymore. I think if we would ask this question a year ago, or maybe like half a year ago, there will be more concerns. Like, this is the way these kind of technologies get adopted. And I think there's more acceptance and excitement to it. I don't assume we have a lot of legal people working in legal and compliance joining us today. There maybe the answers will be different, especially in the enterprise. We've seen a lot of unknowns, and people are like, hey, how does it affect the data we put in, and what should we do and think about it? But I'll get to that maybe later today. So yeah, I think this gives a good excitement. Of course, there is some concerns with asterisks, like Mark has shared. I will go and share a little bit of the journey so far at Dado, give you a little bit of a peek under the hood. and then give you a peek on actually how it's working. What we also will do before we dig in is we have set up a beautiful workshop today, and Mark will announce it, but we are going to break out later in smaller groups and do a little workshop around the things on your mind and get a bit of a better understanding of where you are, what is super helpful. But because again, this is the start of that journey. A lot of you are using Dado, some of you considering Dado, others are just excited about service design and practicing journey mapping for a long time. So it's a huge opportunity to be with like-minded people and discuss like the future of AI in our field. So we'll facilitate that. But before we do that, I'm going to take you through some of the challenges and the opportunities that we've encountered. And to start, what we are setting out to do is that we actually want to go from doc to journey in minutes, because this will be the true game changer when basically you can feed anything into your journeys and you do not need to worry about all these smaller tasks of like getting the insights, qualifying them, turning them into panes, grouping them, clustering them, doing the affinity mapping, building your personas, sequencing them, thinking what goes where, nesting them, bringing everything together. What if we can skip all of that, and after you've done the hard work of talking to your customers, interviewing them, collecting your notes, stickies, whatever it is, why don't we go from doc to journey in minutes instead of bringing all these intermediate steps in? So this is the first ambitious goal that we set out to achieve in our team. And it turns out it's pretty hard, but it's also working. It is possible. And that is the first thing that we want to go through today. For those of you who joined us earlier this summer, when we were introducing journey governance, we sneak peeked to AI and we said, hey, wouldn't it be cool that you never have to start from scratch? So your journey would be basically generated for you. That was like maybe the naive thing to do, is say like, oh yeah, based on who you are, what kind of company you have, and you could maybe start from scratch. But that's like generating, right? That would go in the wrong direction, making all these assumptions by AI about some kind of journey. So the other thing that we're positioning and saying like, hey, what if we totally skip the grunt work, not only mapping and analyzing? So mapping, we're going to talk and show today. Analyzing, that is the next step. And then what if we can start to prioritize impact? And that is the other thing that I think is going to be detrimental, or I don't know if that's the right word. One of the most things, the most exciting things that we have up our sleeves, that once you have all these journeys, then not all journeys are created equal, should be treated equal. All these insights shouldn't be treated equal. So what if we can start to prioritize based on all the qualitative aspects of all your journeys? This is where AI really kicks in. Like for a human, it takes a long time to go over all of it visually, looking at every detail. For AI, that's where they shine. So this is what we actually set out to do. And when we said, okay, Journey AI will be coming soon, well, I think that moment is today. And that is going to be something that I'm very excited about. And I think we should actually start digging in. Now, there's two things that we have cracked, and there's two things that we haven't cracked. To never start a journey from scratch, like not staring into a blank canvas, that was relatively easy. I mean, if you go into the GPTs of this world and say like, hey, give me back a structure for a customer journey map that covers, I don't know, buying shoes, you can do that. So I'll show you in Dado in a second. You can do that. But what actually is the most exciting thing is skipping the grunt work and starting to map based on your documents a customer journey. And there's a bunch of challenges like persona development, like insight development, classification, what is a pain, what is a gain, affinity mapping, which quotes go into what insight, and then looking at like the whole of the interview or the research that you've done, what will be the right order of things and steps people go through. And then if those steps are from left to right, covering a timeline, how we name the phases, and all these like little patterns that you would do mapping out a journey, we have turned into our journey mapping interface we call Journey AI that will help you to do this. So shall we dig in? Shall we try? And again, this is the first time we're going to try it. So expect magic or expect failure. We're going to see. This is
Fair
yet
is
rolled
also
out.
magic.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is not yet rolled out, and this is the people on the wait list will get access to it this week, next week. Some people we've already gave access, and we're planning on doing more. But I'll get to the timeline in a sec. By the way, in the chat, I see a lot of questions coming up. If you want your question to be surfaced, put them in the Q&A. That's the easier way. Otherwise, people like start to do it and we might lose it. I'll take one, which Sarah, I hope I pronounce it right, says Journey AI privacy aspects and GDPR. I told you there might be some legal questions coming up, and this is a big topic. So maybe I'll stop there before we go into the demo. What we have seen working with legal teams in all these large companies is that obviously there's a little bit less excitement and a little bit more concerns. But the bigger concern, I think, the way we are addressing it is we're putting it in a private cloud. So there's no data that you're inputting going back to the, in this case, we're building on OpenAI's GPT. But even if we use the open source models, there won't be data going back to them to train them. So all of them will be within the realms of your corporate environments. And that is the way we're going to protect it. There's obviously, when we launch this, some legal frameworks that we are introducing, but just to give you some peace of mind and also knowing that this is a big one is why we're not like shipping everything like poop, 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 but really are considerate about how this will affect the privacy issues that might occur when launching this at the enterprise level. Right. Shall we try a few things?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, for sure.
So maybe just
what are we going to see? Yeah, what are we going to see now?
I'm going to tell you what we're going to see. And I'm also doing one more poll just to gauge where people are. Like, have you ever used Dadu? We want to launch that poll as well to see if we are going to do it. Let me see. Where's the other poll?
I have it. Do you want me to launch it?
I can't launch it. Maybe the other poll is still running. Can you launch it?
Oh, a poll has been launched. Let's see. One is probably still being shared. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, that is it. Sorry about that, guys. Have you ever used Dadu?
There we go.
While you fill it in, what we're going to see, again, Dadu is a journey management platform. Bring all journeys together, all your qualitative and then all your quantitative data, and we help you to find the opportunities and link them to your business goals so you can actually execute on your customer experience strategy and get your customer needs in line with what your business needs. It's the simplest explanation I can give you. And we're seeing enterprise teams use this at scale to actually make sense of all the different journeys, priorities, customer experience, data in their companies to make a meaningful impact on the customer experience they're building, they're shaping, and they're improving. So 51% yes, 40% no. And what is Dadu? 9% as well. Very nice. Dadu is, like I said, a journey management platform. If you want to do and look at what it is, there's a few other webinars we run in the past. Can I highly recommend you check it out? Obviously, make an account and check it for yourself. We are in Dadu now. And what I want to do is basically generate a journey with AI based on a customer interview that I've done, show you how it works. It will take a bit to generate. So we'll show you the other parts of the AI in a bit and talk about the roadmap while it's generating, because it takes the AI also some time to process. It's not like instant. But what we said, like if it takes weeks for a person and we can do it in minutes, that is a big win. So we want to ship this when this actually is minutes for most transcripts, but there's obviously some long transcripts and multiple transcripts. So there's a lot of big data processing that we're figuring out. But let's say if I want to make a new journey and I'm just going to take transcript from research. I don't know. Can you see my screen? Can you see this other part in the screen as well?
Yes. I see a right panel, if that's what you're referring to.
I'm bringing in just a text file from my research transcripts. But
no, we're not seeing the text file.
It's not a biggie. It's just I'm going to copy paste it. And then here I'm going to paste my interview notes or my transcript. So if you're recording it, you probably have a transcript tool and you get your research transcribed. And then we actually want to say what the source is. So you will help the AI understand a little bit better. So it's interview. And then we're going to say, hey, by the way, I'm doing an interview on a shopping experience for buying clothes. So our persona in this case is fashionable Fran. So again, in Dado, you have all these building blocks, journeys, personas, metrics, insights, opportunities, solutions. We bring all together using the journey framework and customer journeys. But for today, we're just going to say, and this is about fashionable friend shopping. And this was research experience. So we're going to generate. And basically, that is all you need to do is put in your doc, and we're going to start generating the journey. Now, again, like we said, we're taking a big disclaimer. This may take up to 20 minutes. I deliberately chose a little bit of a short research file to not make it too long. But if you have long files or multiple files at one and you make a long transcript, yeah, there's a lot of figuring out to do, like the affinity mapping, understanding what quotes maps on what pane. So there's a lot going on under the hood. And the output we're looking for is a customer journey map with phases and steps, some insights, pains, and gains. That is what Dado AI, Journey AI does today. We want to go one step further with the opportunities and the persona development, as I said. But again, this is V1. This is happening live. This is not a Figma prototype. We're going to go through. So while we do that, some of you who have used Dado and others who might want to try it out for themselves in Dado, there's some fun stuff you can do already with the step generator. So even if you would start from a customer journey template, like a basic customer journey, again, select our friend, fashionable friend. We're going to continue with that, setting up the journey. You could use AI to generate like a little bit of a less blank canvas for you. So maybe friend wants to host a Zoom webinar. So that will be one that we can test out using, or sorry, I clicked it away. That was not the right thing. Hosting a Zoom webinar, that might be one. See, there's errors coming up. If you have tried this, try it again. I'm sure this is going to work. Let's do Fran again. She's going to host this webinar. And then you can actually play around with this like in a fun way, where we actually would have our AI suggesting you steps or suggesting you a way to set up this journey template. So Zoom webinar, let's try again. Yes, nice. So now we're going to help you generate a journey skeleton. And as you can see, we have a template. So needs, pains, and gains are nicely aligned. And there we go. So now all of a sudden we help you to get a basic outline for your journey setup. And like I mentioned, like this was actually a nice test for us to see, like, could we do this? Is it useful? People like it. But it's kind of like the inside out approach, where we say, hey, this is what we think the customer journey should be. And now we're going to like do research and see if people actually are searching for webinar, read the description, register, receive the confirmation email, participate, join, receive the post email. It's pretty accurate if you would think joining a webinar, but we actually said hosting. So it is fine. It is nice. We did a competition internally. That was nice to see who can create the most funky journey template. It's lovely to do, but this was just a basic test to see like how useful this would be to people. And skipping the blank canvas problem.
If I can interrupt for a second, the blank canvas problem is a real challenge. I remember a few years ago, I was writing a lot about journey maps. And one of the articles that's still going strong is like 9 journey map templates, like that I pulled from different places. So people, especially starting out, it helps when you have something at least on your paper, even if you have to delete 9 out of the 10 stages that the AI suggested, like it somehow feels different. I like it as well. Like, and that's super helpful. Like it even can help you like, oh, is this something people would go through? Like maybe we should actually create a question in our research to understand like, oh, when people register and receive the confirmation email, what happens? Pretty basic question, but like that can be definitely a very good use case to get aided in the journey mapping process of joining. And then you can say like, hey, okay, this is a good journey. It's a micro journey, and we add it. So yes, so templates gets a whole new meaning with this, actually saying like, hey, you can start with a template that has your lanes and a basic structure, but you can use AI to also help you think through what the steps should be. So this is really nice. And I'm now switching back to our Fashion Co shopping experience. And this is more interesting because now we are actually seeing what it pulled from the transcript. And I think this is more exciting because now we're actually seeing from doc to journey in minutes. I don't know how fast we did it because we didn't get a ping, but like, let's assume it was a few minutes, 2 minutes. Research and decision-making, in-store experience, post-purchase experience. And then within them, we know the frequency of purchase, the brand preference,
There's past experiences, the store layout and changing room, the checkout experience. And here we see a big pane. So for those who don't know Dado, this is what we call an insight. And each of these insights can be linked to many different journeys. So you don't need to have like 20 different stickies for a single insight, but you can build out your knowledge of how things are linking. And this is really cool because now what we see, hey, we did the affinity mapping. There's a few quotes we got from the transcript. We identified this as a pain. And it's actually a big pain because it has a -1 experience, impact on the experience. So we actually see like she gets excited about the store and she likes how it looks. But then the checkout experience is not. What we could assess is like, hey, maybe there's a step in between where she's actually deciding on what to buy. But that is fine for now. But this whole pain is clear. And now we know the quotes around this. So this is really cool. We can go from doc to journey. And now imagine you're doing simultaneous research with different people, different teams at the same time. So let me, by the way, accept this because this is also what Dado does for you. It says like, hey, is this good enough? Maybe we want to move things around. And now I'm going to accept this. So now we've created a basic journey outline. And again, it was a small transcript. So there's like a few insights in this journey that we have seen. But imagine this is a big transcript. It took a little bit longer. There's going to be more pains, more gains, but we actually codified it. And what I really like about this is now we're starting to fill up our whole repository of insights with all these insights that we have created. Okay, so now you see a big list because we did a few tests earlier today. But all these insights will be artifacts that are now in your repository. Now, the thing that will help you, and this is our assumption, but this is actually what people are saying, is now that I've seen these pains, I might want to add an opportunity. And this is still something that we will unlock with AI soon. But let's say we're going to add a lane for our opportunities. And now we're going to say, hey, there is a frustration with our long queues at the checkout. So fix the long queues. I'm sorry, I'm not a native speaker. Fix the long queues.
Maybe AI can help.
Fix the long queues. All right. So now I've created an opportunity. And this is where the magic of journey management kicks in, as far as I'm concerned. And for people who know Dado, this might be obvious. But I've now created an opportunity. I know it links to the checkout experience to fix the long queues in the journey of the shopping experience of Fran. Let's say that it is. And the persona obviously is linked. But I can say like there's a huge customer value if we solve it, probably also a business value. So now I'm adding some basic properties to this opportunity, which is maybe a bold move. Okay, cool. Now I've classified my opportunity. What will happen next is, say you are running 10, 20 of these interviews. It's actually one way to bring it all together in one journey. But what you could also do is say like, hey, I'm going to just bring each of these journeys into a shopping experience research place we call boards, where you want to bring them in. So board is like a macro journey, a management journey, is a basic framework to collect your journeys together. So we know we have the before stage, we know we have the in-store stage, in-store, and then maybe we have the checkout stage, general stages that what we just saw. But here we have like our research inputs. And now I'm going to add the journey from Fran that we created, which has classified pains in the in-store experience. Maybe want to link it out and map out the phases of research and in-store experience and the checkout experience a little bit more. So we can align that here to the journey. And now we see here one dot. Okay, the value is close to the middle, but what we actually want to do is bring maybe more journeys in from other research trajectories, older research. Now, let's say you've done all this hard work and all these journeys. I don't know, I'm just going to pull in a few random journeys that weren't part of this. Now I'm going to pull in a few other journeys around it, and I'm going to add research journeys that I actually conducted and AI created for me. Now I'm seeing a pattern emerge and basically can start to compare from all these individual journeys. Say they were all mapped from doc to journey by Journey AI. Now I can start to assess the experience, but I can also bring the opportunities in the mix. Now, let's say there's a lot from all these other journeys, but let's see if we can find the opportunity for the in-store experience again. So from what we saw where Fran was having, let me see if I just added the right shopping experience for Fran with the opportunity? How might we fix the long queues, right? So actually, like, it is listed here in her journey. And this is actually what we want to see reflected in the shopping experience. So from all these journeys, where does it then sit? Where does it then end up if we're going to see it? So that is actually something that is super useful when you want to bring this all together. Now, the annoying thing is I can't see it anymore, so I don't know where it's ending up. That's one of the things of having this live demo. But here will be your opportunity. And now you see it in the context of everything. And you can start to say, okay, now this big opportunity should be part of my goal of increasing signups by 10% or changing the in-store experience. So you can bring it all the way up to your goals. For people who are familiar with Dado, if you have your goals, linking your opportunities from your journeys to it. So all of a sudden, going from doc to journey is step one, creating your opportunities is the next, and then linking that to your business goals will speed up the workflow tremendously. So I think that is where we are today with Journey AI, which is going to be rolling out to many of you on the AI waitlist. If you're not on the waitlist, I'll share where you can sign up for it. But this is the first step of Journey AI, where we are. So I was hoping this is useful to see, and I'm very excited about how we're going to build this up.
Thanks for sharing, Johan. I saw some woohoos and some this is amazings, and also a few people who were silent, some questions. So yeah, I think this is great. Yeah, and like you said, this is more than a first step. Like if this is the first step, imagine what step 2 and 3 will look like. Would you like to head into, speaking of the next steps, the next step of our session today?
Yeah. By the way, I'm having my Slack open. Our product team, who's been working crazy hard on this, our AI team, our ML engineers, our product manager, Justas, Chris, everyone who's been working on this is like cheering, like, it worked. Yes, it worked. Phenomenal. This was the first time we're showing it to the world and it worked. So really cool, guys. Just wanted to share that behind the scenes peek in what's going on, and very proud of the team who's been like relentlessly executing on this. So yes, Mark, let's continue on the next part for sure. Workshop time.
Yeah. So we thought today would be a good moment, not just to connect Johan and myself to you, but also connect you together. We are currently close to 270 people still here, which is awesome. And can I share my screen for a second, Johan? Let's see, share screen,
Yep.
Continue. I want to do a quick workshop with you today and do like a meta journey. So I'm going to share this Miro board with you in a second, and you're going to be invited into a breakout room in Zoom with 3 other people. We're going to take about 25 minutes for this. And what I would like you to do is, after a very brief introduction of who you are with your teammates, like share your LinkedIn profile over here, take about 3 minutes to think about the pains. So what's your biggest frustration around a specific stage in the journey mapping journey? What would you like to do? What's the limitation that you see? And which questions do you have? So we took the 6 stages of the journey mapping journey as defined by Norman Nielsen. They are here. So the idea is that you would have a conversation with your fellow practitioners about these topics. So my suggestion is, take 3 minutes, make sure to duplicate these notes, and then sort of write what you want to write here, and then drag them to the correct stage. And after 3 minutes, just take turns sharing what you have added. You can add as much or as little as you want. And if we manage and still have time, we'll actually try to get this into Dado and see if the AI is able to make something out of this. We can't make any promises about that, but that's going to be the experiment. Did I forget anything, Johan?
Yeah, we do have to improvise because we forgot to enable breakout rooms.
Ooh, did we?
Yes. Do you have the button there? I don't. So I think we have to improvise a little bit.
Do we have the button? We should have the button. Was going too well so far.
Damn it. Okay, we're going to improvise. So how are we going to do it? It's going to be a silent workshop, I guess. So unless you find a button, 2 minutes.
Let's see. Interesting.
Everyone have the link to the Miro board?
Not yet. I haven't shared it yet. Shall I?
Yes. Let's put it in the chat.
Okay. Here's the link to the Miro board. 3, 2, 1, go.
And then
Can I? Yes. I see people
Make sure.
joining. Breakout frames.
Yeah. So again, we don't have breakout rooms. So we will do a little bit different. Do a very short personal introduction by writing your name and perhaps a pic or a screenshot of your LinkedIn profile or whatever you want to do and add it. So I will be in room 4. It's Jochem. Very nice. From Amsterdam. I'll take a little screenshot of myself and drop it in. And then you are assigned to the room, I guess. So you can do it this way. You can do it another way. Then people know where you are. And then just take the stickies, duplicate it. Like, what is your biggest frustration in this stage? Get buy-in. What is the desire that you want? And again, you don't need to fill in everything, but just like get a bit of a sense. Also show, knowing what we've shown today, like what is your take on this? Where are your pain points? What do you think the limitations will be? And what are you curious about? And this will tremendously help us as well. Like opening up Journey AI is not going to be like, here's the feature and just figure it out. It's like, hey, what do you need from this? Like, how would this make your work so much easier so you can spend more time on the things you care about? And maybe you care about journey mapping. That's also fine. We just don't enable it for you. That's totally fine. So I hope we can do it in a bit of a silent mode, this workshop. Apologies for the mess up for the breakout rooms. I hope you will forgive us.
So what we'll do, Johan, I'm going to set a timer in Miro for, I don't know, 10 minutes. People won't be able to interact with each other, but maybe we can use those 10 minutes to go over the questions that were put in the Q&A. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right. So while everybody is queuing up in the Miro board, let's go over the questions. I think some of them were already answered by the Dado team, which is great already. And I'm going to sort by the most upvotes. And the first one is from Christian. Christian, awesome that you were here. Not so much a question, but a comment. The asking of a good question is much more difficult than giving a brilliant answer. Yes. Anything to add to that, Johan?
Well, I think, yeah, it's not really a question, but it's more like, I think this is the thing, right? I have been working as a user researcher myself, and setting up the right questions to ask is almost an art. It's not a science. It's not like, hey, where are you? There's so many frameworks and ways of doing it, whether you're doing a jobs to be done type of interview setting, or you're really like going open, like designing those questions is a big job. And not everyone is very good at it. So if you can have more time to think through what is the question that I want to ask, I think then you'll be in a good position. But in reality, a lot of discovery teams, a lot of research teams are like, find me the insights so I can execute on it. So I think that is it's a good statement. And I think that is hopefully something we will bring back.
Yes. And I think this is maybe a fear that a lot of people have, is that people will become numbed and just use plain AI to do everything, like stop thinking. I don't think that will happen. I will think even more creativity will shine, because that's what you do when you have more time, hopefully. Next question is from Michael Peters. Will there be an API connection? Technical question, so we can integrate this to our own Insights platform. What's the roadmap, Johan? Okay.
Yes, we'll do it. But there's also an interesting debate where do you want to bring all your insights in, or do you actually want to bring a little bit of a mixed state in? So one of the things we actually did is we analyzed for one of our larger customers. They're like, give us your MPS records. And they gave a file of 22,000 responses. Promoters, detractors, everyone in between. But we got the qualitative insights. And we ran it through the AI. And actually what we got was a synthesis of insights with quotes, definities mapped, and basically a basic mapping of what this was, a purchase MPS survey. So basically mapping out the whole purchase journey, for in this case, a car. And it was really interesting to see, like from MPS, we could actually see how the purchase journeys was perceived, what the steps people went through, and also synthesizing the most important pains and the gains that people experienced. And that was an in-between step. So it wasn't like the API ingested all the records, but we just analyzed it in batch. So API, definitely on the roadmap, but the in-between state, just dumping those 22,000 records in the text box is already working.
The human API.
Yeah, just copy paste, like easy.
Yeah.
But like we will, ingest docs, we will have you upload anything and then we do it. But like the thing would be more, what if we have a little bit of a middle layer where we help you analyze, bring all the insights in, and you pick what you want to keep or not and what is relevant to you.
Thanks. Next question/comment is from Jen. This summer, I worked with an intern on journey mapping. She was new to it, and it was helpful to have ChatGPT generate the first draft she could see and test against. That's an interesting approach as well. I'm going to assume not everybody is so passionate about journeys as you are and as we all are who are here today. Have you thought about bringing AI initial guide?
It is actually what we just saw, right? Where you say like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I want to map out part of the experience. I think it is, I don't know, the checkout experience of my web shop, or I think it is the in-store experience, or I think it is buying this mobile phone. Where does it start? Where does it end? And if your Journey AI gives you a framework or a journey map, say like, here's a template, but also here's like the start and the end point, that will speed you up. Maybe it's wrong, but then at least you know where it's wrong and you add a little bit or you remove a little bit and you have a frame of mind. So it can be super helpful.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that you also always will, at least in the early stages, will need an expert, somebody who has seen a lot of journeys and is able to judge the quality and say, hey, this might be wrong. Like if you're new to it and sort of assume that everything you see is correct, that might be dangerous. So having somebody looking over your shoulder and guiding you. Next one is from Melina. What about the human aspects of reading between the lines to interpret the interview? Not everything is taken for literate meaning from interviews. Yeah. Comment that I've heard more often. Adding emojis to transcripts. Is that the solution, Jochem?
Yeah, that's the solution. Easy as that. No, I think this is it, right? It is like a super powerful assistant. That's how you should see it. So it will help you speed up your work tremendously, but still you are the judge of quality. You will, if you've done the research, know what has been discussed. And if it's just plain wrong, you will suss it out. But you don't have to do all the work to get it right. You can just have to do the work to fact check it, edit a little bit, remove a little bit, and there you go. So literally what a research assistant would maybe do. Hey, I've conducted all the research and here it is. So I think there will be some human judgment involved, which is a good thing because you want to have the most accurate understanding of the pains customers have in a particular experience. And, if the AI is hallucinating, it's the way people talk about it. Yeah, you want to fact check that and remove it.
And I resonate with that sentiment of reading in between the lines. I've had that as well in my research days. But I know that there is also a whole movement within the qualitative research space who actually says research should be pretty objective, even if it's qualitative. So, regardless of who reads through the transcript, they should be able to take out the same insights. I've done an interview on the Service Design Show with Indy Young. She talks a little bit about that. So if anybody is into that kind of way of analyzing, that's very interesting. Taking the subjectivity out of transcripts of answers, creating mental models, as she calls it. I think that's also something super interesting to explore here.
Very
Are you
nice.
ready for the next one, Jochem? How much time do we have left on the Miro board? We have just under 2 minutes. Okay, let's quickly do another one. Shuab, I'm butchering your name. Sorry. Curious what this community thinks the core of having journeys is. Ooh, big question. We experience a big part of the values in the deliberation, friction, debate, consensus, etc. as part of the creation. So the journey is more important than the destination in some cases. Are there ways you're thinking to preserve this aspect in the new ways of working as AI? Yeah, I get this. Like a lot of the value comes through the debate of making the journey, interacting with each other. How do you see this?
So the journey is more important than the destination in some cases. I think that's an interesting one. Yeah, journeys are used for alignment, basically. If you do journey management in your company, it is a tool for getting alignment and mutual understanding and making the right decisions. So basically, it is a decision-making framework that covers customer and business. So when you think about it like that, you don't want actually the journey to be the most important thing, but in the end, you want to use it to do the most important thing, which is making something better, improving your customer experience, changing something in your ways of working to make the experience work. So I think creating those journeys to help you with those decision-making processes, if you have also a good taxonomy of like, how do we call these journeys? How important are they? How big are they? How impactful are they? And if you have such a shared language around it, which can be fairly simple to set up, then it will be easier to also know like how to use them. I don't know. It was a bit of a philosophical answer maybe, but I think the question was also very deep.
So if I may add to that, and the bell in the Miro rang, so that was our 10 minutes. I can see, I've been there and I've seen the value of debating with each other and sort of thinking about what the journey actually looks like. But if you can skip the initial steps and not start from a blank canvas, as we talked about, you can still have the same debate. Like, hey, I think based on the interviews and with the help of AI, that this could be our journey. What do you think about this, Johan? Do you see any caveats? Do you see any gaps? Do you see any things
No, but
that...
time mapping out a proper journey.
Mhm.
And sometimes you don't have that time, so you don't have anything at all. So I think it is an interesting question, and I don't have the factual answer, but my gut feel says it will start to help you. One thing, and maybe that's a good segue, and then I know we have to look at the workshop results. But one thing, the way we are thinking about it actually is introducing a concept called source journeys. So maybe I can share that. It's pretty
Yeah,
simple.
let's go. Yeah.
So source journeys with AI and from doc to journey can be that instead of like having a journey framework with 100 journeys, you'll have a journey framework with 1,000 journeys. Well, that's going to be hard for people to start to comprehend, but it's also not what you want. So again, a journey framework, say a customer life cycle, and then a macro journey, which would be like the overall purchase experience. And then the micro journey would be, I'm buying a mobile phone in a store, would be like the layers of your journey framework. But let's say we're doing AI, or let AI do the work from doc to journey, from research to journey. What you actually want to get is all this information to bubble up on the right levels so you can actually have the management information to make those decisions. Now, where we are going, and that is what you see on the right, is that you probably want to have like all these little journeys that we created today, like from one interview, create a journey, from another interview, create a journey. Make a bigger journey out of that, which could be the source journey for your research on the purchase or the shopping experience for Fran in the store. Now that journey then feeds into the micro journey of, it's not buying a new iPhone online, but it's like maybe buying shoes online. And that starts to feed up the system. So we're trying to create a new class of journeys. And if you have this journey framework, you can easily say like, hey, there's maybe hundreds of journeys that are super tiny, depicting like a little reality based on one anecdotal interview from a customer, or maybe 10. But this is how it actually builds up our knowledge of the overall customer experience. And this is super interesting if you have a simple framework to roll this up and to set them, link them together, but also essential to see the widespread of how many journeys you will have. I don't know if this was helpful, but this is how we are solving for this.
All right. I see still people reading through the Miro board. Would you like to see if we can do something with it live, or is that too tricky, Johan?
Oh, look, I copy pasted a few, probably be very, very all over the place, but
So,
at least maybe we can get something. Let's just do it. Like I copy pasted some of the stickies. Let's just go for it. Like, oh, hang on, you're not seeing my screen.
Not yet. So basically the idea here is that this was a micro research that you could have done with your customers, helping them to map sort of their experience across a journey. We did it on a meta level, mapping the journey. And
that's probably why we'll like, but let's see. It's starting to generate now.
Yeah, and then you would just use the human API to insert the insight. Well, there aren't yet insights, the raw data from the interviews from the Miro boards, and then allow AI to help you synthesize. Right? That's the premise.
That's the premise. All right, it's done researching.
All right.
Shall I share my screen again?
Sure.
See what we got? All right. It's called enterprise journey mapping, apparently. Very nice. Okay, we're going to accept it later. So understanding the current situation, identifying the challenges, overcoming obstacles, implement solutions. Fair enough. Need to leverage large in-house data platforms, aggregation and synthesis from Qualtrics, Medallia. And here we have some quotes. Map existing data from different tools, find ways to leverage large in-house teams. Okay, well, at least like we can now start to see what was on the Miro board in a different way, right?
Yes.
AI data lacks the nuance to understand the company's unique brand and marketing strategies. There's a desire for AI assistance in preparing research. Is it a pain? I don't know if it's a pain, but AI assisting, my experience is not nuanced enough. Yeah, it's probably a pain or an obstacle. Got an observation, summarized with some quotes. So getting the resolution level right between journey.
People are actually interested in how did you get this into Dado? So they want to see the copy paste live. So how did you do the copy paste?
So yeah, I wasn't an admin. So you need to copy paste like sticky by sticky. If you're an admin, you can like
really
select the whole Miro board, copy paste. So I copy pasted it in a text file, like some of these that I grabbed from a board, some of these, and then in the mapper, I will accept the results. Just like give you another sense. Again, like I just went to generate a journey and then pasted everything. I don't know. I think it's still on my clipboard. Need to grab it again. Oh, yeah, you don't see my screen. Oh, I'm grabbing it again. And I just pasted
it. Yeah, there it is.
So that was how I did it. And this is what we're going to get. So again, like a proper interview setting, taking people to like, hey, walk me through like, where were you when you first thought of buying shoes online? Where are you sitting? And setting that stage and running the interview obviously will produce better results because then you get a more of a timeline from the customer. But this was definitely worth a try. And I think it's doing well. At least now we have a synthesis in Dado and we can start to find opportunities maybe.
It's in our rehearsal. We also tested the export feature in Miro. So Miro, we didn't do it for speed purposes right now, but you could basically export your whole Miro board as a CSV file and then maybe with some pre-processing, paste that as a transcript as well. So people are excited about the copy pasting, Johan.
Nice. And this is just a start, right? At some point you can just grab a screenshot, dump it into your journey, and then we're gonna have it. But I don't want to jump ahead of ourselves and make our product team very nervous right now. But this should be like part of what you can actually start to do with your qualitative research.
There are some questions in the Q&A, still quite a lot of open. I am going to cherry pick a few because I think they are interesting. So Paul is asking, are there guides on how to conduct an interview to work better with AI? That's interesting.
Yes, and this is actually what we are working on. We'll provide them. We're working with UX researchers on this to give some guidelines, like how to conduct a jobs to be done interview, like understanding the process of making progress and really understanding the context and how to set the stage and how to ask the right questions, how to frame your questions to really understand, like, for instance, a job to be done. Like, again, we are not inventing the job to be done in research, but there has been ways that you can do proper research and conduct it well. We will provide some of that in our knowledge hub. So yes, that is something that we will bring together also from our community. And this is a call to action to you, back to you or everyone. Like, if you are a professional researcher or service designer and you want to get your way featured and tested and tried or like highlighted, we'd love to do it. So bring it on, like connect with me or my team, or if you are already in our community on Slack, like share back. That would be cool. And then we can like feature the interview script of Janelle or the interview script of Paul and bring that together and see the results from it. So yes, that would be lovely.
Nice. Let me ask you a sort of technical question. You're building on top of OpenAI, and there was a question about using different languages. I'm going to guess that you're supporting the languages that OpenAI supports through their API.
Yes, for now, we're building on open. It's just like a super straightforward interface to build on. Our model was trained on Claude, so one of the open models. So we taught it to use persona development, insight development, even opportunity capture, all the little things. But to integrate it in a way that is actually useful for enterprise, we start with OpenAI. but it's definitely not the first or the last one we are doing. But yes, there will be more coming. On languages, we are not an AI company. We are not building our own language models. We're using what is out there, right? So that is one of the limitations that we have.
Yes. Jochem, is there anything that you feel we should revisit or that you feel we should have spent a bit more time on today?
Oh, I actually liked it. It was a bit of a bummer that we couldn't do breakout rooms, but I think the workshop result was actually working well. That was a surprise that it did well. So I think we covered all of it. I know there are some questions on the when. Maybe we wanna cover that. I even
Yeah,
created
sure.
a
Go
visual
ahead.
because I
Yeah.
knew people were excited about it. Shall I share?
Yeah, go ahead.
So live on Daydo for everyone is, your generator for your journey steps, as we saw, your blank canvas thing that is already live. What we are launching starting today for people on the waitlist, so not everyone, but like a limited set on the waitlist, is actually what we saw today. So analyze and mapping your insights of a single iteration transcript. But as you see, it's already useful for sticky notes and all of the other things, but like we designed it for a single iteration transcript, like an interview. This will be rolling out. And for us, the thing that we are learning here is quality. Like the quality must be like 95 to 100% and also fast before we will ship this to everyone. The next thing before we ship it to everyone for most people on the wait list will be in December, where we actually build out journeys for multiple transcripts. So now that I have this one journey, what would happen if I start adding new interview data, new qualitative research, new sticky notes, and add it? So starting to add more to an existing journey, which is one of the other workflows we uncovered. Like you don't want to do it single journey. You want to keep feeding your journey with new. So that is what we are doing in December. And then in January, when it's fast enough, when it's good enough, when the quality is amazing, this will be part of all Daydo plans. Of course, in the freemium version, we can't just, open it up for hundreds of journeys for every account, because then we'll pay a big bill. But it will be available on freemium plans. And then in the paid plans, it will be available in limited. And then basically we will also launch the concept of source journey, so you can start to link it and bring things like opportunities, persona development to market. We will be communicating about the exact timeline and when and how you can join this moving forward. And once it's rolled out, that's when the real work starts, because then we can kick in the next gear and go into the analysis of all the journeys, linking it together and start to bring, the impact of what your journey work is showing you into workspaces. So this is roughly the rollout plan. If you are not yet on the wait list, just go to daydo.com/AI, sign up, and we'll be in touch with you. And there's also some questions to understand, like what you want, how you want it, and what we can do for you. And also based on those use cases, we give the right access, because some people want magic things that we don't do. Some people want really cool stuff that we can do. And based on that, we'll strike up the conversation to get your feedback and start working with you.
If I'm reading through the chat and sort of getting the sentiment, people are really excited. The concerns and the questions that are there, I think those are questions that you and I have as well. Like, what will be the impact of people sort of working less with the actual data? I'm thinking like somehow it feels still a bit romantic in our profession that we sift through the data and sort of we work with the clay to create the statues. And if that goes away, what will happen to our profession, to the value that we bring? I don't think we have answers to that yet. This is a challenge for our entire community. There are questions about reliability and how accurate is all of this. I think we are going to find out.
Yeah, maybe also to address some of these concerns, because they are also on our radar. For instance, all AI generated content. So if you want to keep the human parts stored and remove the AI stuff, you should be able to filter on it and delete it. That's one thing. The quality of it is still for you to decide. Like you saw in the demo we did today, you can accept the results or discard it. It's not like poof, there it is, and now it's part of your system. Like there's going to be controls for you to say like what you want and what you don't want. And we will try to be as good and as perfect as we can be there to give you the right controls to manage that.
I wanted to say these models will get better, but they will evolve. If they get better, we'll have to see. But they are going to evolve. They're going to learn, and as long as there are still humans in the loop, we can direct them and sort of try to get them aligned with what we want. Like, I think the biggest risk is that people start treating it as a silver bullet, right? And that it gets them off the hook for doing the actual important work. It doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, this is like, there's a reason we have the triple diamond, right? The way we think about like problem discovery, solution delivery. There are so many different parts of the workflow. What we saw today, Journey AI is just doing the first step, like going from, okay, we have maybe a business challenge, like let's figure out what our customers are saying, like where are they, what are they doing, what are they saying, what are they thinking, what do they experience? But it's hard. It takes a lot of time. So if we can speed all of that up, so all of a sudden you have a lens to look in a different way at all the opportunities that you might want to tackle, well, then you make it a lot easier for yourself to start going in the right direction for solving for these problems. And if we can only like accelerate that, like smash it for you there, we've done a great job.
Johan, you mentioned that the waiting list is available. I think we can announce what the next steps are for you and I. We have one more session planned for this year. I don't think you had a slide for that. I think that was my responsibility to make a visual. Yep. I haven't. So I'll put it in the chat. We're going to do a final version of the Journey Management Mastery sessions, a live stream on Wednesday, December 6th, 7 p.m. There's going to be a live stream on YouTube. If you want to get the invitation link, either join the Service Design Show email list or become a Dado email list subscriber, or follow me or Johan on LinkedIn. We'll definitely announce it there. Journeyman Management Mastery is sort of our relaxed session to look at what's happening in the industry and to answer some of your questions as well. So that's your next opportunity to hang out with us in a month's time.
Very good. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Mark, it was a pleasure.
As always, yes, let's pat each other on the back. And thank you all for, again, like you said, Johan, being here. So many journey mapping enthusiasts.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. Really cool to see the excitement. And I hope to see you soon in Journeyland and start doing this and bringing this to the world and figuring out why and how we will change the face of journey mapping, or maybe wipe it out or not. Like, that is up for us to figure out, not for us to decide. So hope this is super helpful. And thanks again, everyone, for joining us today. It is recorded. We'll make a nice edit out of it, publish it live. And like I said, join the waitlist if you're not on it, and see you guys soon in Journeyland.
See you soon. Bye-bye all.